Welcome back, witches and wizards. Today I'm going to be telling two stories. The first one's going to be a bit short, and the next one's going to be a bit longer. Very similar to the last episode with the Florida stories. Now, the first story, when I was about 6, 7, or 8 years old, somewhere in there, it was Sunday, and I went to church. And I remember our pastor talking about the book of Revelations. And I was a kid, so I had no idea what he was talking about until he started mentioning the end of the world being talked about in the Bible. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of scary. And he started talking about how the world could end, like hypothetically. He's like, we don't know, the Bible says about it could be, it's going to be related by fire, because he talked about how he's never going to destroy the world with water like he did with Noah's Ark or something like that. And he started talking about how it could be anything related to fire. And he brings up Terminator. And because my mom was an awesome mom, she had let me watch Terminator and Terminator 2. But being a dumb little kid, hearing your pastor talking about the end of the world, it happening by fire, and then him bringing up Terminator, my mind went a little crazy. But it didn't happen right away. So he talked about how the world could end by nuclear bombs or something like that, like in Terminator. Thought that was a bit strange. Didn't like that talk as a kid. But whatever. Carried on through the day like it was normal. And in the evening, a storm was coming in. Now, I hated thunderstorms as a kid. I did not like them. I loved watching Jurassic Park. But whenever I heard thunder, for some reason, my overactive imagination would immediately think of a T-Rex. And my mind would always think of a T-Rex outside my window trying to eat me. So that's where my mind was whenever I had I heard a thunderstorm as a kid, and I hated it. It scared me. I wouldn't sleep. And yeah, so the thunderstorm's coming in. The storm's coming in. And I'm about to fall asleep. I do remember going to sleep and falling into sleep. And all of a sudden this big clap of thunder right over our house woke me up. It almost shook the building. It was so loud. And it was right above us. It woke me up, and in my weird, half awake, half sleeping, just been startled, woken up, I guess I went running because my mind immediately thought, clap of thunder, our pastor talked about the end of the world, it's doomsday, bombs are dropping. Instead of my normal, there's a T-Rex outside of my window, there are bombs being dropped on my house, and I was scared. Now, all I remember, clap of thunder, thinking about the bombs, and next thing I remember is my Nana holding on to me, holding on to me. I'm on the other side of our building. I ran from my bedroom all the way to the other side of their building, and my grandparents' building is pretty big. So I ran the distance. And not run into anything, surprisingly. But I'm on the other side of the building, and I'm shaking. My Nana's holding on to me, and she goes, it's just thunder. Go back to bed. It's just some rain and some thunder. Go back to sleep. And I'm just like, what? Oh, okay, I'll go back to sleep. I did not sleep for the rest of the night. But it scared me so much because my mind went to, hear the big bang, bombs are being dropped, start running. And my Nana was so confused as to why that happened. And I told her the next day, and I'm like, our pastor was talking about the end of the world. I heard the thunder really loud right over our house. And I thought the end of the world. And my Nana was so she was so done with me at that point, because I had done so many weird things that weekend at her house. Before I continue on with our next story, I am going to ask if you guys could subscribe to my channel. I have here showing on the analytics that only 38% of you guys who watch my videos are actually subscribed. 62% of you guys just watch and leave. It would help me greatly if you guys could subscribe if you guys enjoy my videos. Now I'm going to talk about the next story. And this one's a bit longer, a bit more detailed, and a bit more strange. Now, you could argue the last video, oh, you probably weren't asleep or anything, you probably just didn't remember it. Or I think, well, that's technically not sleepwalking, or in my case, sleep running. But this one, this one, I swear, is me sleep running. And it is so bizarre, and I felt so bad after this had happened. Because I found out what was going on. And I felt so guilty, even though I had no control over it. So what happened was, I was about 11, 12 years old, and I was at my grandparents' house again. My bedroom is at one end of the house. Right next door to my bedroom is my sister Goop's bedroom. And a little bit down the hallway is my grandparents' bedroom. And only my Nana sleeps in there. My grandfather sleeps in his chair in the basement because he can't lay down on a bed or something. He has a hard time breathing. So he sleeps in a recliner chair. Anyways, so the middle of the night, I'm falling asleep. And I start dreaming. And I remember this dream vividly. In my dream, I got up. I ran into my sister's bedroom, which is right next door to mine. And I remember her room in detail, like where the bed was, tapestries, all of her stuff, her dresser, and all that. And I wanted to jump on her. So when I ran into her room, I immediately jumped onto her. And I landed on her with hard. And I heard a scream. But the scream wasn't my sister's scream. It didn't sound like Goop at all. So I was kind of thrown off by that in my dream. So I immediately jumped off the bed and I ran right back into my room, which is next door to my sister's room. And I jumped onto my bed. And I know this is a dream because you know how things kind of fast forward in your dream, or you skip, it's almost like you skip a couple of frames of your dream. Well, in my dream, I jumped on the bed, and the moment I touched my bed, I'm already lying on my back, and the sheets are already on top of me. That's what I remember in my dream. So I was like, okay, that's just a dream. When I woke up the next day, I was like, oh, that's weird. When I got up, I had forgotten about my dream, and I just thought it was an uneventful night. My sister was still sleeping in her room, and my Nana was up. And she was in the kitchen having her breakfast. I go out there and I said, hey, Nana, how are you doing? And she goes, oh, not too good. And my Nana had a bad foot back then. And I asked, oh, was it your foot? Was it acting up again? And she goes, yeah, a little bit. But something else happened last night. And I'm like, something else? What happened? She tells me about how she was falling, like she was asleep. And then all of a sudden, around 2 o'clock in the morning, something landed on her rather hard. And then when she got up to look, there was nothing there. She looked around, nothing that was there, she found no evidence of what landed on her. And she was like, something really heavy just landed on me. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Nana, there's nothing in your room that could have fallen and landed on you. And if something did fall and land on you, it would still be there. And she goes, yeah, it's almost as if someone had run into our room and jumped on me. And I had totally forgotten my dream last night. So I turned to my Nana. I'm like, Nana, who would do that? Why would anyone want to run into your room and jump on you? And she goes, I don't know. That's what happened last night. And so I asked her, who do you think did it? And she goes, well, it couldn't have been Papa because Papa is a big guy. I would have heard him running down the hallway, and it would have hurt a lot more. And it couldn't have been Goop because Goop is a loud runner, so I would have heard her running down the hallway before she even reached me. And then she kind of looked at me, and I just shrugged my shoulders. I'm like, I was asleep. I didn't get up. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to jump on you? And it must have really confused her because, you know, there's only 4 people in the house. There's her, our papa, my sister Goop, and myself. So if it wasn't, it couldn't have been her. It couldn't have been Papa. It couldn't have been Goop. So the only person left was me. But I had no memory of what had happened last night. I had no memory of my dream or anything like that. So I thought I was just asleep. So I was very convincing about me not doing it because I don't remember doing it. And so that threw her off. She was like, okay, all right. And so she's like maybe thinking, maybe I forgot something or maybe I overlooked something. And I was trying to figure out what was going on. And I thought about it and I'm like, what could it have been? Sounded like someone had run and jumped on her, but why would anyone want to do that? And I take a drink of my apple juice. And as I'm doing that, I remember all of a sudden all that memory of my dream came to my mind of me jumping on my sister Goop. And that's when I realized that it wasn't my sister's scream I heard in my dream. It was my Nana's. I had dreamt that I ran into my sister Goop's room, jumped on her bed in the middle of the night, and then ran back to my room. When actually, I ran into my Nana's room, jumped on her in the middle of the night, and then ran back to my room when I heard her scream. I nearly choke on my drink as this is all coming to, like, you know, as if like a light bulb went off in my head. And I tell my Nana, I'm like, Nana, I had this dream last night. I totally forgot about it. I had a dream last night where I jumped on Goop. And I heard a scream, but it didn't sound like her. So I ran back to my bed. I think I jumped on you last night. And she goes, why? And I'm like, I was dreaming. I don't know. I guess I was sleepwalking or something. And she goes, you were not walking because when you landed on me, you were gone. And I started apologizing so bad. I was like, Nana, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to jump on you. In my dream, I was trying to jump on Goop. I'm so sorry. And she was like, don't talk to me for the rest of the day. She was playfully being sour with me about it. And when my grandfather got up, she told him about what happened. And my papa turns to me and he goes, why would you do that? And I'm like, I was dreaming. I was jumping on Goop. And then that story was told to Goop. And then Goop was like, why did you want to jump on me? And I'm like, I don't know. It was a dream. But it was I felt so bad. But it was still really funny. And those are the 2 main cases of me sleep running, I guess. Because I ran out of my room and I was like on the other side of my house at the time. And then I ran and jumped on my Nana. There were a few other times where like I was dreaming. Like there was one time I was dreaming I was playing soccer and I was taking a big kick. And how I normally sleep, I'm on the other, like the side of my bed. And I guess my body decided, you're gonna kick for real. And I swung my leg and next thing you know, I'm on the ground because I had swung so hard that it flung me out of my bed and I landed on the ground and it woke me up and it really hurt. It's, I don't know. Sometimes my body just doesn't turn off completely. And so like I dream about something and then I like flinch dramatically or I do an action in my dream. Like there was one time I think I smacked my friend. We were sleeping in the same bed because we were sharing a room on a trip and I dreamt that I was like fighting someone and I smacked them while they were sleeping. They did not like me that day. They did not like me when they woke up the next day. They told me, you smacked me in the middle of the night. And I'm like, oh, I did? I'm sorry. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed those stories. Please like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell for future notifications. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!